Hello, second grade. Today we're going to continue on with regrouping when we subtract using three-digit numbers. As in previous lessons, we are going to show our work with the place value model. Reviewing what we learned in our previous lesson, we know that regrouping is simply changing the way that we think of a number. So for instance, I could think of as 100 as 10 tens or 100s block. And it goes both ways. I could also think of 100s block as being 10 tens. Just as in our previous lessons, we are going to regroup the tens place. And in order to do this, we're going to change a hundreds block into tens. Now notice, the number doesn't actually change. What changes is the way that we draw this. So I start with the number 100, and when I draw 10 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I would still have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. The number is 100 at first. The number stays 100. All we did is we drew them as tens instead of hundreds. Here's example number 1. 527 minus 143. As we look at these, we're going to do just like we did in our previous lessons. And we have to think to ourselves, if this was a problem all by itself, could we subtract it, or would we need to change something? In other words, would we need to regroup in order to subtract it? So I take a look here, and I see the number 5, and I see the number 1. My first digit 5 is bigger than the digit 1, so I could do that normally. I wouldn't have to do anything special. As we talked about before, I get to the tens place, I have the number 2, and the second number's digit in the tens place is a 4. So 2 minus 4, we can't do that, not without regrouping. So this will be the number that we have to regroup. So let's take a look at those two steps again. I draw 527. I draw 527. And I look at that mini problem, 5 minus 1, 500 minus 100, no regrouping necessary. And as we said before, 2 is smaller than 4, so what I'm going to have to do is change one of these hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I look here, this is 100, just as my 10 tens is 100. I can't double count the hundreds. All I did was I changed it. It was like I cut up my 10 tens. So now, when we think of them as the tens, we add it to the 2 we already have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 tens instead of 100 and 2 tens. It's the same number, just in a different way. Now that I have enough, I can regroup. I'm sorry, I did regroup, so I have enough, so I'm going to take 4 tens away. And I'm done with that part of the problem. The final step we have is to take a look at 7 and 3. 7 is bigger than 3. The first digit is bigger than the second digit. No regrouping required. We just do it like normal. 1, 2, 3. So let's take a look here. I have 3 hundreds left over. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens after I crossed out the 4 tens. So the middle number is going to be 8. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. I could count this and say 100, 200, 300, 310, 320, 330, 340, 350, 360, 370, 380, 381, 382, 383, 384, and get the answer 384. Or I could copy down the numbers, making sure that they're in the correct place value. The 3 is in the hundreds place, so it would go first. The T has 8 tens, so I would make sure that that number 8 is second underneath the T, and 4 is under the O, and we know O means ones. So I would write the number 4 under the ones and get the same answer, 384. Here's our last example, and as you probably guessed, we will be regrouping hundreds into tens. And the reason we have to do this is the number 6 is smaller than the number 8. So the first part will be easy. It will just be like normal, our hundreds. We can subtract without regrouping. And the number 5 and 4, we can also do without regrouping. We will have to regroup the number 6, though, because 6 is smaller than 8. 100, 200, 300, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, and 65. 100, 200, 300, 310, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. 300 minus 100 is 200. And then some of you are telling me that 6 minus 8 equals 2. And although 8 minus 6 equals 2 is a math fact, 6 minus 8 does not equal 2. We have to regroup. And in order to do that, we need to change 100 into tens. So like magic, we change it into tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 tens is the same thing as 160, which is what we had already. So the new problem would be 16 minus 8. Cross out 8 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that leaves me with 8 tens left over. So as we can see, the answer would not be 2 tens. The answer is 8 tens. And the last step we do is that we do 5 minus 4. 5 is bigger than 4. Not everything needs to be regrouped. If the first digit is bigger than the second digit, you simply subtract it like normal. 5 minus 4 equals 1. Let's see what's left over. In this case, we have 100. And just like before, I can count them, saying 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or I could even go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and make sure that I put it under the tens place. Both of those are correct ways to count, and 1, 1. So I take a look here, and it looks like the number that I have written down is 181. And if I count it, I should get that same answer. 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 181. Great job with your work today. Today we focused on regrouping hundreds into tens, and tomorrow we're going to do a mix of what we've learned so far, today and before. So that means that we'll be turning our tens into ones and our hundreds into tens depending on the math problem. Keep up the good work, and remember, you rock!